Sup, bitches?
You want to talk about what this video is about?
Yeah. Sherwin, his channel is going to be linked right below his face. I'm going to put that right here. And Space Monkey STI, my name's Stewart. His name's actually Sherwin, but spelled differently on his channel. But we just want to create content for you guys. We just recently got back from Laguna Seca, and I think we want to get more people interested in tracking their cars. Wandering around YouTube, there's a lot of people that are doing a lot of cool stuff, making videos, but it's mostly like show car stuff. You know, you find like a garage parking lot, meet some people, but there's more to cars than standing next to them.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people are apprehensive about taking their car out to the track, and there's kind of like two groups of people, like what Stuart's talking about, like the hard parkers and the track junkies. And we're trying to get more people less apprehensive about taking their car out and learning how to drive, and not just buying parts for their car just so that it looks cooler, but actually know what those parts do, how they function, and improve yourself as a driver as you get more comfortable about how those parts work. First video is just gonna kind of be a soapbox about track days in general and our experience so far, since both Stewart and I have a handful of track days. There's definitely more crazier track junkies out there, but
we're like your typical like weekend warrior once in a while, but there are definitely people that are clocking in way more seat time. So I think we have we're standing in a good place where if you're like really interested in tracking, we're right there with you. We're not going like every weekend kind of thing. We still have lives. We want to create more of these videos for you guys in the future, possibly make like download sessions of talking about like our fast laps, see where we could improve on together, and just review our own footage and get faster and have fun.
What we plan to do in the future is have footage of us talking about our initial impressions of our sessions at the track day. It's going to be a little bit more work, and since if you guys know, in between sessions and track days in general are very energy draining, so like having this set up, it'll be a little bit more work, but it'll be worth it to have you guys there with us and give you guys a taste of what it's like to be there on the day of, and have our initial impressions of our sessions fresh off our minds.
Yeah.
And I think that Stuart's car and my car, they're not super heavily modified cars. We still drive it in a semi-daily basis, and Steven and my dad, they basically run their car stock, so it's kind of a good avenue for people who are interested in taking their cars out. Do I have to do all these modifications before I go out on track day? And that's really not the case. You could just take the car as is for most sports cars and enjoy yourself and have a good time.
And I think for Sherwin and I, we actually our very first track day, the only prep that we did was an oil change to make sure that we have fresh oil in there, and just double checking on, do you have enough brake pads? Do we have enough tread on our tires? And even that, like after our first track day, 100% you could say that we didn't even push it anywhere close to our limit. Like your very first track day, most people, like you'll talk to people online, or you'll meet people like, man, like, yeah, I'll definitely, like, someday I'll go out to the track, and then they're like, but I gotta make sure I first have like 6-pot brakes, and I also have 2-piece rotors and
our compound
tires. It's like, no, you don't need all these things. You just need to make sure that your car has enough pad, tread wear on tires, and fresh oil.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the things that like first timers who are interested in going out to the track are like, ask me, they say like, oh, what kind of stuff do you have to buy, special tires or something like that? But in reality, when you're there the first time, you're really just kind of learning the lines. You're not really learning how to trail brake into corners or handle oversteer or anything. You're really just learning the very basics, and that's kind of the key thing to do, is you just kind of build yourself from the ground up. You don't want to just go out like going crazy and try to get the corners as fast as you can. You want to build yourself up and get your comfort level to that point.
Yeah.
I think that if you can see, like, a lot of Facebook groups, we frequent one, SoCal Lateral G, so if we could just give a shout out to them. Some of the guys there, they ask, oh, what's the best first track to go to? And Bunwell is a good track because the dirt there, if you go off track, is very fine, and there's not going to be like stone chips going and messing up your paint or they're underneath your car. And also the dirt's very flat for most of the corners, so unlike Big Willow, where if you go off track, it's very rocky and you could actually launch your car off and flip. That's kind of a more scarier track. But it was really flat most of the corners. Just there's definitely more some corners you have to look out for. Most of the corners are very open.
Yeah.
So if
it's
you
not
guys,
that accidents can't happen,
yeah.
but you're not going to ruin your car as bad if you drive within your limits. And I think that's one of like the biggest things that we keep in mind. I think everyone keeps in mind. Like,
yeah, you got to keep a level head, and you can't come out there being very prideful, like, oh, I'm gonna be like the fastest guy out there, I'm gonna just go balls to the wall, pedal to the metal, and you gotta be humble. You gotta approach it. You gotta realize where you're at as in a skill wise, or else you could drive the car harder than your talent allows, and then everybody will run out of talent sometime, and the next thing you know, you're gonna hit the wall or something or crash your car. So it's definitely not worth it to do that. So we definitely had a couple guys that we met up with that were kind of hot-headed. We don't want to mention them here.
I'm not gonna mention anyone's name, but
you just gonna tell, like, those guys, if it's their first time out there, they think that they could just go out there and be Michael Schumacher, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
You're gonna start out baby steps. You gotta learn how to crawl before you learn how to walk. So
definitely,
that's something you need to take into consideration.
Yeah, like, I think one of the coolest things for us, we've gone to just like a handful of different track organizers. Sherwin's first track day was with Extreme Speed, and right now we've been running with Speed Ventures. And Speed Ventures is getting a little crowded at the moment, but Speed Ventures was my first track day, and the blue group is the beginners group. And what I think was really cool for them is if it's your first time track day, like, the organizers really make you feel like, hey, we want to make sure you're safe. At the end of the day, everyone's taking their expensive cars. Everyone, like, we don't all have a crap. I gotta turn this light off. Beginner blue group. What we really appreciate about Speed Ventures is that for my first track day, they really know how to cater to people, first timers, and how they do that is. The first two sessions, even though it's slow, they are lead follow laps where you have an instructor that's leading a group of cars and they show you the proper line that you're supposed to take on track. You're not supposed to be going fast during this session. Like, during these sessions, this is where you're learning where the flag stations are so that you know if there's any cautions that you need to be aware of on track. You're learning how to, like, look for the flags. You're learning how to place your car in the proper line. Even though you're not going at speed, but you should know, like, this is exactly where I need to be when I'm going 80, 90 miles an hour. Sherwin and I, like, everyone is always driving to create their, like, personal best lap time. We're time attacking it in that way. But for us, we're not driving at 10-10. We're 10/10ths of our full potential. Because the moment you start driving like that is the moment you have no room for mistakes. I know personally, like, I feel like I'm driving around like 7 or 8 out of 10 of my potential, so that I have that little bit of buffer room for if I make a mistake, I'm in full control, knowing that, oh, I'm going to catch the car if it oversteers, or if I know that I'm going to go off, I could point the car straight and make sure that I'm not going in sideways and digging in my tires to possibly roll the car. So you want to make sure you're very conscious. You know, if you don't feel yourself breathing for some reason, then slow down. You're driving too hard. You know, if you're like demon gripping the steering wheel. I don't even know if that's the right terminology.
You just made something up, so it's the devil himself is driving your car. Slow down.
Too much Street Fighter. He's coming in with Goku's demon.
When you go there, the track days, you think that there's gonna be a lot of like guys with big heads, you know, like balls ringing between their legs, you know, because they think they're all that. But that's really not the case. You find that more at the hard parker scene, like than the track day guys, because I feel that those track day guys, they let all that stuff out on the track. You know, when you go out there, you let it all out.
Like adrenaline dump.
Yeah, it's adrenaline dump there, and you let that all out. And once you go back and you just talk to each other, you just you go to random people and just start talking about their cars, and then it's really, when that first time we went on that first day in Buttonwillow, like a couple years ago, it was really kind of like eye-opening to see that the community was so welcoming, you know. Whereas like if you go on some random hard park meet, you know, some guy's just there sitting next to his car, you know, like, yeah, what do you want?
Yeah,
you know?
it's true. Like, I've gone to a couple of Subaru meets. Like, I've met a few people in the community. I've met a couple of people in the community that are super chill. And not gonna lie, they're also track junkies too. You know, like there are a couple of people. Like, I bring my car now to AQ Motorsports because two of the guys at the track, Kevin and Joel, they track their STIs all the time, and I was like, man, what's this AQ Motorsport they're repping, you know, and they go to these Subaru meets too, and I got to meet them through that, and that's awesome, you know. But then you also have those hard parkers that like they'll look at your car and like, stock, whatever, look at my front mount intercooler. You know, it's like, shut up, alright?
Yeah, so you don't get those kind of hotheads most of the time when you go to those track days, you know. I wanted to talk about when people are worried about how safe it is to go out on the track. It's safe as you are gonna make it, you know. And also these flag stations, like knowing the flags and what they mean and looking out for them, they're actually very helpful in telling you what's going on. You know, somebody spun out, you look at the flag and there's a yellow flag, or you guys should know the colors. Like when they go on the track day, they'll explain it to you. But it's good to have that, so you know that, okay, over this crest there's somebody there, you could just slow down a little bit, you know. So, or if there's somebody, there's oil on the road or something, there's a flag for that too. So there's it's very organized in that sense, like for these track days. But
it's a responsibility of the driver to be aware of those flags. You know, like if you are driving beyond your limit, I would say you're not concentrating on those flags possibly. You know, you
should be a good enough driver where you're driving at comfortably and also aware of those flags at the same time. Actually, when you go on those track days, first day, beginners, those guys, the beginner level, I would say just go straight to beginner. You know, like if it's your first day, those guys are not going to be burning rubber and drifting all over the place. You know,
you'll need to like buy like new set of tires, a new set of like race wheels or whatever. Like,
and it's very safe. Those guys are going to be very slow. Everybody's learning the line. You know, it's a controlled environment where you could learn car dynamics. That's basically what it is, you know. It's not wheel-to-wheel racing where you're racing people. If you're in a session where there's point buys, then nobody's gonna be passing you on the inside, and you don't have to worry about people passing you and crashing into you, because there's no passing allowed. So when it's actually a lot safer than a lot of people think it is. So I definitely encourage people to go out there and try it out. I think that's one of the things that that kind of surprised me that first track day. You know, that when we went out there, you could just talk to anybody. Like you just go like, oh, cool car. You know, like what you've done to it. You know, like what kind of times have you got? You know, this is what I've done. You know, like when you start talking about, well, how do you attack this corner? You know, like how do you do this? You know, and
everyone is super helpful. That's what's really cool. Like
everybody builds each other up. They're not like, oh, I'm not gonna tell you my secrets. You know, I'm not gonna tell you how I attack this apex or something like that.
Like from the track day, that's how I met these two guys, Joel and Kevin. They're both STI owners. I forget which. I think it's one's like a 2012, one's like a 2007 or something. But they both track their cars. I see them all the time. I was a little intimidated at first because I was it was like my first track day. But once I started seeing them, like I made my way over there and I talked to them. They're like the most down to earth people, you know. And like I also see them at like Subaru meets, and those are like the people at the parking lot. Like I hope to meet, but rarely do meet because everyone else is just like there to just show off how much money they've spent on their car that is slammed to the
garage
ground.
Queens.
Yeah. So it's really cool. Like I really enjoy just the atmosphere of the paddock and getting to meet people and getting to know them. Like at Laguna, there were surprisingly a lot of GT4 owners that were there and a lot of people with like BMWs, M4s. And they're super easy to approach, you know, really cool guys to talk to, and always helpful to give you tips on like how you should be doing, approaching a corner in different ways.
Yeah, and I think that just having that makes you want to go out there even more, and, you know, and it kind of just builds a community, and it's just beneficial for everybody. Oh yeah, that's one thing that in Laguna Seca that I thought that it's kind of weird. They don't have an air pressure. Tire pressure there, so thankfully community is super welcoming. I just asked some random people just in the garage paddock if they had
an air compressor,
and one guy let me borrow it because I actually took too much air out of my tire. So that first session I was running at like 23 psi going in. And so my front left was really low, and then so like making right turns, you're getting like some understeer. So that first session was kind of weird, but thankfully, you know, the people there are super friendly, and you'll always find friendly guys that are willing to lend, you know, a jack or some tools that you need that to help you out whenever you need. Yeah, cooling. Yeah.
One time, so I guess we could just segue this into some of the problems that we've run into.
Yeah.
Known issues with this car. He is the EJ257's worst enemy. So with this car, like it's like an issue, but if it's your first track day, first of all, if you have a Subaru WRX STI or WRX whatever, if you have a Subaru, you're not going to be pushing your car so hard that you're going to run into heat issues. I've been to Buttonwillow maybe 4-5 times, I would say right now, and I didn't start having heat issues until my third track day when I was like more confident behind the wheel. Like my first track day after Blue Group, I think the fastest lap time I was able to get was 2:18, and I was like, man, that's fast. I'm never gonna beat that. And then we went to Porsche driving school, and went to Barber Motorsport Park, and we got to experience. We got way more seat time there, and got more experience behind the wheel of how we should be braking, what it feels like to handle car at speed. And I went back to Buttonwillow, and I put down I think a 211, low 211 on the shades off time. That was good, and my car ran great that day. Third track day, I think I ran like also 211. I didn't beat my time, but that's when like I slowly started to run into coolant issues. People on the track with the Subaru, they run their heater in just to get all the heat out of the engine bay and out of that area into like the cabin or out the windows somehow to get the heat out of there. And I didn't do that, and I actually ended up like boiling my fluid or something, and like I don't know where the coolant went, but I was like extremely low on that. So But back to the community side of things, like the other Subaru owners that were there, they had ran into the issue. They had extra coolant, and they spent their own money to bring that, for themselves. And I was having problems, and they willingly helped me out just to get home, gave me their coolant. Of course, like I paid them back because they're so generous, and we're in the middle of nowhere. But that's the kind of community that the track brings in.
Yeah, so it's a very welcoming community. There's they welcome beginners, and there are people that are more experienced on that particular track are always willing to give advice.
Yeah.
And you could say that going on a track day helps you become a better driver on the street. You become more aware. Your vision becomes more broad when you're looking at everything. So you become more of a safer driver. Yeah, you learn that because we've done a lot of people that are into cars. They've done stupid things on the street, and
I'm pretty sure there's some stupid stuff on my channel right now.
Yeah, me too.
But I am not innocent of it for sure. But I'm not. We don't have like street racing videos on our channel.
None of that.
We have car control videos.
But you tend to like keep that at the track. There's a time and place for it. And you become more aware, like these guys at a speed on the freeway and stuff. You could let those guys go. Let them just act like idiots. So you become more level-headed. And again, like everybody that goes out and actually tracks their car, they're very level-headed guys. It's kind of like jiu-jitsu, where those guys were that don't do like those meatheads that like just want to like go fight everybody. Like anything will make them get all pissed and want to fight somebody. When you actually go to jiu-jitsu and when
you actually learn how to break people's arms and choke them out.
Those when you go meet those guys that do that every week, they're very level-headed guys. They're very friendly guys. They're very There's guys that want to help you out. There's a community in there, and I think that translates to guys that track the car often. Like those guys are very welcoming. Those guys are willing to help you out, and lending a helping hand, some coolant, if you need it, and so forth. So. I don't know.
Go out there and track your car. Meet some cool people.
What we're planning to do for future videos is do footage on during the track day while we're fresh off the session, so we could get our first impressions of how we did, what the track day is like, so you could get you could be there with us at the time. It's going to be a little bit more work because we got to set up all this stuff, and if you guys have been to track days, it's very tiring, and sometimes all you want to do is rest. But just to make you guys
feel a part of it.
Yeah, feel a part.
Just get an idea of what it's like.
Yeah. So we'll kind of have those videos for you on our next track event. Which will probably be later on this year.
Yeah. And also, like, we'll probably try to have, like, these little Q&A, or, I don't know. We want to be more involved in the YouTube community. So if you want to comment below any questions that you have about either Sherwin's E92 M3 or my Subaru WRX STI, comment those things below. We'd love to answer any questions for you. Love to tell you more about our car, and tell us what kind of videos you want us to make. I know like a few people that I've come across that do track their cars. One person doesn't know how to heel toe. So if you guys are interested, maybe give us some thumbs up on this video and we'll create a heel toe video, or teach you how to drive manual properly. I'm sure there's a bunch of how to drive manual videos online, but I don't know, like, I feel like they could explain it in much more layman terms.
Yeah, so we could do the Q&A is a good thing. We could see what people say about this video and just gauge their interest. And if there's a lot of questions and if you guys want to have a Q&A thing, then we could definitely do that.
Yeah.
Car related or track day related questions.
Yeah, let us know, and we'll not creep.
We'll creep on you.
We'll creep on you. Find you on Facebook. Add you. No, but we'll create more content video for you guys. But right now, I think we're gonna call this an end to this video. I think we talked a bit about track days in general. Like, we really hope that we want to inspire you to come out, you know, and baseline your car. You know, you don't need to prep it. You don't need to do all this stuff to get it track ready. Bring it out there.
Most of the time, like if it's your first track day, you're not going to be driving to your car's potential. You're baselining yourself, basically. Mm-hmm. So just go out there and learn about yourself. Learn about how you handle these certain situations. Because like going out there in a track day is nothing like anything you'll ever experience. You know, like this one time you could focus on one thing and there's nothing else in your mind. You know, you're just focusing on the car and you're being one with the machine and all that. If you're into cars, you gotta go to track day.
Definitely. And hopefully we see you out there. You know, leave us a comment below and we'll let you know next time we go out there. We'd love to meet you guys, and we could just roll as a crew. It'll be fun.
Yeah, so if you like the video, like, subscribe on the bottom here, and we'll see you on the next track day.